I have an urgent message for you guys here, because if this one thing happens tomorrow morning, bulls are going to start freaking out in panic, and we're gonna see 600 on Spider here very, very quickly. So tomorrow morning, right? And just look at it. Look at how this market closed. In such weakness here, as you can see, right? You can see here just the way it look at the candle right there. It closed rather weak. We are not seeing any sort of dip buying activities on that last hour. You can see how quickly, once we lost the micro and short term, you see a lot of battle was going on though. On the first 4 hours, you can see a lot of long upper wicks, long lower wicks. Basically, it was flirting with those micro term and short term moving averages, trying to reclaim. So what happened was bulls actually failed to fill the entirety of the down gap from this morning. Remember we talked about on Wednesday, and actually, yes, on Wednesday, when we did see that gap up, what happened was like bulls reclaimed the micro to short term moving average right here, right? Reclaiming the micro and short term moving averages, a lot of times, it's very constructive for that trend to continue. As you can see, we see that is the abrupt decline, right? We reclaimed the micro short-term moving average, a lot of shenanigans prior to it. Once the micro short-term moving average was reclaimed, right? The short-term is green, the micro-term is aqua. What happened? Boom, 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 boom. We went into this uptrend for like 2-3 weeks. So yesterday, when we woke up, when we came into the market gapped up inside significantly, and we saw follow through, no fade, nothing, just all strength all throughout the day. We reclaimed the micro and the short-term moving average once again, and then bulls kept pushing higher, got really close to near all-time high level, right? Today we gapped down, small down gap, all right, it's fine, whatever. And so we tested a gap here. You see that long lower wick, you see that right there. So basically the dip was bought, and for 4 hours, right? We're watching this in my live stream room for 4 hours. It was trying to reclaim the micro term and the short term moving averages, and it failed. It did not completely fill that down gap from this morning. So you see what I'm saying? You see that down gap right here? It filled like, I don't know, 70 some percent. No, not 70, because it opened here. About 50% of it or 40% of it is still remaining. And so the gap wasn't filled. Micro and short-term moving averages were not reclaimed. For 4 hours, bulls really tried. And you see on the 5th hour, 6th hour, tanked. Look at the way it closed. Weakness on the last 2 hours here. Remember, think about this. I want you to think about this. First of all, we have a lot of support levels here at 603 or so. 603 or 602, right? There's a midterm moving average that acted as strong support, that dotted blue. That is at 603.30. It's coming up right here. We also have a rising pivot. You see right here? You see right here? You see right here? And you see right here. That's why we made that upside move yesterday, because that rising pivot, ladies and gentlemen, that's the level that bulls utilize to catapult itself to the almost near all-time highs. So we got a gap area support, we got the midterm moving average as support, and we got the rising pivot. Bears know that. Bears know that they're all kinds of support areas, right? Because what happens is, let's say bears come down and just fill it. Let's just bears come down and fill it. Which I think if you're a buyer here, you might want to pray for that. You might want to pray that bears just come down and fill it. Huh? That might be better, because then you got a midterm gap fill, active support, got a rising pivot, all that stuff. So we might find that bounce after that it gets filled. But let's say And this is not a big down gap, but let's say we gap down tomorrow morning to like 602.80 or so, which is gonna be like 2.2, 0.25, 0.3. Not a big down gap, but let's say we see about 0.3% down gap tomorrow morning, right? Let's say below the gap, below the midterm moving average, and below this rising pivot. And we turn that into an island down gap, right? Because it gapped over it of this up gap. And if you've been following my channel here, you guys know how I feel about these island gaps. Below the midterm, below the pivot, very, very quickly what's going to happen is all these buyers who bought anywhere in this vicinity right here in the last several weeks, they're going to start panic selling. All kinds of stops are going to be triggered. And then all these bears are going to start coming out looking at this head and shoulder formation. And very, very quickly, you're going to see this thing coming down to 600. 600 is going to be the next level of support because we got to, as you can see, we have the gap area there. And my long term is in that. You see that right here? You see this? That long-term moving average, ladies and gentlemen, that's the moving average that saved this fall. And big down gap, remember, tankage next day. We, sideways, built that base. Who did all that work, you think? It's the long term. So 600 is 598, 600 is gonna be served as a stronger support. You see that? I did a little fib work here, boom, boom, right? And that's gonna be my first level of my fib gap area and the long-term moving average. So if you're a bear here, you're praying for island down gap. If you're a bull here, you pray there's no island down gap. And if there is an island down gap, things will get hectic.